you want to pick and sing to them, you can. While I'm tuning this thing here on.
Howdy, everybody.
Charlie Napier, or is it?
Yeah. Did you find it?
Let's see. Charlie Napier is live.
Yeah.
Charlie Napier is live.
I'm going to go ahead and connect too. And hi to all you folks out there in Facebook world. This is my good friend Richard, his wife Donna. Hi. And I think he's incredible. And you're going to enjoy him.
Thank you, Charlie. Hey, everybody. Howdy, everybody.
Howdy, everybody. I need to turn my volume off here so I can. All right. They're beginning to get those thumbs up there. Yeah. You guys got a request now. You go ahead and you can talk to them a little bit.
All right.
Then you all get to hear maybe some of the stuff that we're going to talk about again here in a little bit. But anyway, Waynesville, Ohio.
Hey, I am tickled to death to be back down here in Renfro Valley. We have become friends with Charlie over the last couple of years. And you can always tell when somebody is your genuine friend because he'll drive 2 hours out of his way to come see you. And he did that here back a while back, and we was tickled to have him.
After I got in Ohio.
Yeah. We was tickled to have him. You know, this country music thing has been awful good to us over the years, and we've met wonderful people like Charlie and so many good folks around the country and around the world. I was telling Charlie a little bit earlier that we're going to be back in the studio again the 12th and 13th of November, and finish our last session for our brand new CD that we got coming out here after the first of the year. So you folks are the first to hear that, whoever was out there listening on Facebook land there. So real excited about being able to do that here in the very near future and getting our new music out there. And for all those folks that know how things are at the farm, my wife is still working me to death, in case you guys are wondering.
We need something to do next week.
Okay, I've got my log call up here. So we'll start. I'll shorten it a little bit by not doing that long introduction. Well, last week we had this log was crowded. It's crowded a little today, but not like last week.
On our drive down here we drove 75 south down here from Cincinnati this morning, and the drive was absolutely beautiful. Trees are still full of color.
Beautiful, aren't they?
I'm telling you what, it was absolutely wonderful to drive down here and see all that today. And I've already met a new friend today, Miss Leslie from right here in Renfro Valley. Hi, Miss Leslie.
Hi. So glad to see you again.
Well, we're glad to be here.
I think she saw you and you came down to the 80th birthday.
Yes, exactly right. That was a lot of fun that night. Charlie's making reference to the 80th birthday party of the Renfro Valley. We got to be...
I see you qualifying that, making sure it's not you.
Yeah, I just missed that by a few years now, Charlie.
Well, I miss it by a very few years.
For all you folks on Facebook land, we are at the radio station at WRVK, Renfro Valley. How long has it been on air, Charlie?
Since 1957.
1957.
Founded by John Ware.
Man, yeah, that's got some bragging rights there now.
It does. It does.
That's fantastic.
And he had a dream of founding a music complex, and Renfro Valley became that dream, and the dream came true.
You know, there's a lot of my heroes come through this little old town right here playing and picking. It's been a few years ago though, but me and my wife and some dear friends up home came down and seen Merle Haggard down here. And it was so incredible. I mean, I'd seen Merle several times, but he made the comment, you know, boy, this sure is nice to play down here in the daylight where I can see everybody.
Yeah.
Caitlin's on here.
Well, hi, Miss Caitlin Adams. For all you folks in Facebook land, that's going to be a very popular name. You'll remember that name, Caitlin Adams. I'll tell you more about that little story here as our interview proceeds, and I'll be happy to tell Charlie about young Miss Caitlin Adams. So,
Okay.
nice lady, nice gal, great singer, big things happening.
You're almost about to spill the beans.
You can't keep it secret.
You can't help it. can you?
No, we can't. If you don't want anybody to know, don't tell him.
Yeah. That's why Donna keeps me on a need-to-know basis.
That's
there,
right.
Charlie. You know. Thanks for joining us, Caitlin.
We got Milton from the UK,
Hey, Milton from the UK.
and we got Stig from Faroe Islands, Denmark.
Oh my goodness! All the way from the Faroe Islands, we have a dear friend, several dear friends from the Faroe Islands. Mr. Magnai Christensen, one of the greatest country singers, if not the greatest country singer of the Faroe Islands. Got to do a duet with Mr. Magnai here a few years ago, and it was a lot of fun.
That's really cool, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
You know.
I want to welcome you here to Kentucky, and we are in a beautiful little town called Mount Vernon, right on the biggest interstate that he came down here on, north and south.
I-75, stone's throw off.
And Toby Lester from Greenville, Texas.
Hey, Toby Lester, my Texas buddy. How you doing, my friend?
Carrie from back home.
Hey, Terry.
Carrie with a K.
Carrie. You see why I'm a need-to-know
We're
basis?
covering
you
the
guys?
world, aren't we? We are covering the world. Yeah. We want to keep all of you off on this radio station. Tell them the website.
Hey, you guys, check out the website here at WRVK
1460.com.
for AM.com. 1460.com.
WRVK1460.com.
You heard it right here. WRVK
WRVK
1460.com. And you talk about great traditional country music along with great gospel music, spiritual sounds, bluegrass, and they keep the real down-to-earth music alive and well right here.
Mike Frederick says hello.
Mike Frederick, back to Lebanon boy. Hey, Mike.
How many countries have we touched already?
About 4 or 5.
So we are.
Well, if you count Ohio in the country.
Well, we can't get it as a state. I know we'll have Michigan in here in a minute, and we'll have Pennsylvania.
We will.
Yeah, they will be tuning in here.
And we've already got Texas. You know, Texas is.
Yeah,
it's
yeah. You know, James Miller a lot of times, about every show tunes in, so he'll be probably checking in with us here.
Now, for you folks that's wanting to know about Charlie Napier, not only is he a great MC and disc jockey, but he's quite the talented musician as well. So you guys have to check out old Charlie now.
Okay, we're about ready to take off.
These are all things President Trump supports, and that Amy McGrath will fight
I got
for
2
in the
more
Senate.
spots, and we're
So
ready to
when
roll.
President Trump talks about draining the swamp, we can start with Mitch McConnell. Maybe Mitch McConnell said it best.
She's a Marine, She's a mom, and I've been there too long.
That about sums it up.
I'm Amy McGrath, candidate for Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Amy McGrath for Senate.
Listen in each Wednesday to the Generation Gap Radio Hour with Avery Bradshaw and Old Grandpa from WRBK. We'll be discussing current news, telling stories, and playing some great songs along the way. We invite you to listen in each Wednesday at 9 a.m. to the Generation Gap Radio Hour, sponsored by Lone Star Farm and Home.
Okay, you're drinking that good old Climax water today.
Once upon a time, there was a place where a day wasn't complete without a trip to fetch a bucket of the cool water from the local spring that was tucked in the mountain.
You folks on Facebook world, this is what happens at a radio station when you get ready to go on. That's what we're doing. We're prepping everything, getting ready to go on. And of course, it's fixing to happen here in about 30 seconds. The whole show.
Don't go nowhere. Stay right there.
Students know if that's a Martin D28.
It is a Martin D28. Yes, it is.
I love that guitar. I got one. Mine's not electric though.
Yeah. I'm pretty proud of
Just
it.
acoustic. That's is that your dad's guitar?
No, my honey got this for me a few years ago. Bless her heart.
You can get it in bottles, gallons,
And
and
6, 5,
That's
4,
Climax
3, 2,
Mountain
1.
Spring Water. Taste the difference.
Alrighty, welcome aboard here to the Country Charlie program. We're going to take off relatively quickly here so we can get our guest on. And he's come a long way, and we want to use as much of his energy as we can. His lovely wife, Donna, over here. And we are very good friends.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we love y'all. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you for coming down here.
Thank you, Charlie. Love you, brother.
All right, let's take off with a song, and then we'll get into singing, because I don't want to waste. We got short time, and I want to hear some music.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Richard Lynch, and I am tickled to be back down in Renfro Valley. My buddy Charlie says his favorite Richard Lynch song is the Old Feed Store, so I can't think of nothing else to kick off with. Growing up in the country, I remember well how I loved the simple way of life. There was lots of work to do. We had fun there too. Seemed like we were always fixing that old barn. When the weekend came, we'd all ride into town, listening to Paul Harvey and the Farm Report. I didn't know back then, I miss it now. What a boy can learn at the old feed store. Life was so much easier back then. My mind goes back there to when simple riding dad's pickup truck, making memories galore down at the old feed store. I've had so many blessings, more than I deserve, and I'm thankful for all the things I've got. I'm thankful for direction and all of those corrections. Mom and Dad, they taught me quite a lot. If I lived to be 100, I got no regrets. I could have never asked for anything more than the country way of living, and the fact that I was given a chance to be around that old feed store. Life was so much easier back then. My mind goes back there to when simple riding dad's pickup truck, making memories galore down at the old feed store.
true for anybody that's in my age group. Down at the old feed store, whittling, backer chewing, you name it.
Throwing them old bags of sweet feed and getting that cracked corn for the animals. Some great memories right there.
Sam Smith said hello to you, and I'll let her say who she's got on her side, but he said he shared the radio charts with you.
Oh, yeah. Hey there, Mr. Smith. Good to hear from you, my friend.
We got to get Sam up here to WRVK.
There you go.
Yeah.
WRBK, folks.
Yes. Sam he's quite an entertainer himself, and he likes to get that old guitar out there and does, I think, a lot of gospel music, things like that.
Oh man, my kind of stuff. Great stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of talked a little bit off air how we're excited about getting our new music recorded. We got a 6-song session, and we'll be finishing up our new up and coming album in Nashville the second week in November, and I'm happy to say that it'll be coming out sometime in 2021. And you made mention of he's saying some gospel music, Sam, right there. We're going to be putting together not a gospel song, but Richard Lynch sang songs spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have some songs that I wrote over the years, and kind of makes mention of the man upstairs, because he's always in charge. You know that.
He is.
And so he's blessed me an awful lot, and we're going to put together a spiritual album, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, that brings me to the song that we play a lot here that's going to be on the album.
Mm-hmm.
It's one that you've written. Tell us about that song, He Made Everything All Right.
Well, He'll Make Everything All Right kind of came to me one morning. I was sitting there, and I was kind of listening to the news, and if you listen to the news too long, it seemed to be, down this and down that, and I was like, man, we're all going to get through this. Ain't no way about it, ain't no way around it.
Exactly.
This coronavirus and every problem we got will eventually be a thing of the past. And so I got to thinking, what would I say if I had the whole world to listen to? And I said, I think, well, He'll make everything all right, making reference to the man upstairs. And He has it under control, and I believe in Him, and He makes Himself more obvious to me every day. And so, if you don't mind, Charlie, I'd like to sing that one for you.
I'd love to hear it.
This great country of ours is in a heck of a shape. I know I've never seen it this way. And don't let your heart be troubled, it won't be alright. We got the right man working for us, so pull out your Bible, we'll walk with us. We need to pray to the Lord, He'll make everything alright. These troubled times are in, they ain't nothing new. Look what the greatest generation went through. The Great Depression and worldwide war. No, I'm not making light of the trouble we're in. In fact, we'll go together like they did back then. We need a few less politicians and more of the Lord. Every generation's got a battle to fight. It looks like it's our turn to sacrifice. Ain't it funny in the blink of an eye how the whole world changed? We're still the land of the free and the home of the brave. Better make sure we stay that way. Let's keep our faith in the Lord, 'cause God's love never fades. This great country of ours is in a heck of a shape. I know I've never seen it this way. But don't let your heart be troubled, it's gonna be alright. Thank you.
That's brand new, and you know, it's I don't know, it does something to your soul when you hear it, because it is going to be all right.
Yep.
With all the fear mongering that's going on, you know, God is in control.
Yep.
And it's all going to be okay.
Absolutely. If it gets cold, it warms up. If you fall, you get up. Everything's going to be all right.
Everything's going to be all right. You really nailed it on that. Pam Perry, I want to say hi to her. She's one of our wonderful entertainers. Be here next week, matter of
Pam.
fact. And you and Pam would hit it off really well. She plays about any kind of instrument you think of. Sings and
One of them little talented gals.
oh yeah, she really is. But your album that you've got coming out, do you have, now the last album you did, you had Ronnie McDowell and who else recorded with you on that album?
Leona Williams.
Leona Williams. that's
Wow,
right.
one of my heroes.
Yes.
And this little lady named Donna Lynch, my wife, we kind of did a little song together. And
Oh,
on
I love
Keyboard
that.
Cowboy.
Is she, are you going to do that one?
I don't remember.
She don't.
I have to practice.
You mean you have to practice?
Yeah, I have to practice.
I've been practicing myself.
You know, this music thing, you know, people ask me, how do you write these songs? And there's no rhyme or reason, but if I feel an inspiration, I've learned to drop what I'm doing and go write it, because it goes away just about as fast as it comes to you.
Yep.
You know, and this new album that we got coming out, you mentioned about it. Off air, we talked a little bit about a young lady, and I'm so excited that I'm going to have a duet. I wrote this duet with this in mind. Actually, I wrote the song with my wife in mind, and she said, you know, Richard, that might be a good duet. And I kind of looked at it, and I looked at it, and I thought, my goodness, she is exactly right.
Always.
And she's always right. What am I talking about? But there's a young lady back home. Her name is Caitlin Adams, and she is the ripe old age of 19 years old. And this sweet young lady is so talented. She was raised right. She knows about traditional country music. And if you close your eyes and you didn't know Caitlin was in the room with you, you might think Connie Smith was singing. So, you know, she had great influence. Her folks and her grandparents, you know, they love real traditional country music, especially her parents. And her dad came from a country music household. So she's been around it most of her life. And I'm excited that we got to do a couple shows with her a couple years ago. And we've been having her on our shows from time to time since then. And Charlie, I cannot wait to see. I want to see your face when you hear this girl open her mouth. She is that talented.
So she's going to be doing a duet with you on...
She's going to be doing a brand new duet that I just wrote, and we're going to be in the studio next month. And we're so excited about getting this recorded and down. And it's actually going to be the first time.
So we got a sneak peek maybe in December?
Maybe.
Maybe.
There may be a little sneak peek snippet right there. So something to look forward to, folks out there. I know there's a lot of folks that's really loving to hear that traditional country music, and it's rarer and scarcer to find that traditional.
And see, that's what makes you
sound.
so unique and good, is that you are a modern day singer, but you are still carrying on the family tradition of country music.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I come from a country music household myself. My dad was Woody Lynch, and he grew up in these hills of eastern Kentucky over in Jackson County, and never knew a stranger. And, you know, when he grew up, you know, they didn't really have a lot of, you know, TV, and they had radio, but they didn't. And their form of entertainment was after working, they'd get to eating supper, they'd go out there on the front porch, and they'd all play music. And Dad would play guitar, and my grandpa would play banjo and fiddle. My other uncle would play, you know, dobro and bass and doghouse bass, you know, the big doghouse bass. And it was a musical, talented family, and I'm proud that I can say that I came from that country music way of life, because I grew up listening to it. To this day, I wouldn't trade anything for the way I was raised, because I realize how important it is to keep that traditional country music alive.
It is important, and I'm really proud you're doing that. Well, say hello to California, Lois. Napier.
Hey, Lois.
Who is my sister-in-law, and it's California tuning in.
Hey, Lois Napier. Now, my better half, Miss Donna, her maiden name is a Napier, so that you guys might be kinfolk. You know?
We could be, yeah.
Probably.
You know, actually, we've been working up my niece out, and she's probably listening out in North Carolina, Raleigh. But she's been running her family roots down, and she traced it all the way back to out in West Virginia, and then it went all the way to King Charles. And Patrick was his name, Patrick Napier.
Man.
He was his barber, and he moves into West Virginia, and from that move came many, many Napiers. I don't know what that means, but let me take a break. We'll be back more with Richard Lynch here on WRVK after this break. I think I know what it means, but
I told you guys, Charlie is the bomb. What a great disc jockey, what a great friend.
Say hi to Kelly James, big worker.
Kelly James out in Missouri. How are you, buddy? Good to see you. Kelly's also a great singer, entertainer, has a television show out there, and we have graced his stage. Thank you, Kelly. Good hearing from you, my friend.
Joe Mullins and the Radio Ramblers, Flatten Scrubs, James King, and many other artists like the Scrap Time Bluegrass Gospel Show is for you. During the program, you'll be able to call in your favorite song requests.
I heard him talking about Joe Mullins and the Radio Ramblers. He's from our neck of the woods.
he is. And you know, we get lots of requests for Joe.
97.7 FM.
My favorite Joe Mullins song is
Bacon in my beans.
Bacon in My Beans. That's the best bluegrass song ever written right there.
Now, is he still active?
Yes, he still performs a lot, and he has the radio stations that we listen to quite often up around our neck of the woods.
Maybe invite him to come down with you sometime.
That'd be great.
And,
He might just do that.
make a date. But he's got a lot of listeners down there.
Yeah. He works the Opry. Still, he plays the Grand Ole Opry. So yeah, Joe's been doing quite well. He's got like 6 stations. That's all a conglomeration there in our area. So AM stations, FM stations.
So he owns the conglomeration.
Yeah, he does.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That'd help get your music out there, you know.
Yeah, when you own all of the radio stations, right? Or at least 6 of them anyway. That's quite impressive. No wonder he had so many listeners there. Joe, if you're listening in.
Rodney Clancy listened to him.
Rodney Glancy from Lebanon, Ohio. Hey, Rodney. Glad you're listening to us, brother.
Sue just now claimed Patrick. Well, Sue, that's interesting. Sometimes we'll sit and talk about that lineage. I've got it all on my phone from my niece out in Raleigh, and she has done a ton of work on that. The lineage.
A big tree.
I've actually traced it back to my dad's siblings. He had 10 siblings, and his name was Alex, and he was named after Lee Alexander Napier. And it's just really interesting how much connected we really are.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. We've been on the road before and met people from Texas or pick a spot, and don't take very long to start figuring out, well, I've heard of this one or I know that one. Next thing you know, you at least know somebody.
I'm going to go ahead and finish this break off, and that way we won't stop anymore. All right. Just one more spot. Hey, Howard.
Stig from
Hello?
the Pharaoh says, it was great to experience how energetic and productive you are. There are not many musicians in this world who are so industrious. You are both exemplary. Thumbs up.
Thank you,
And
Sid.
stay well.
Thank you, sir.
That's because I give him a list every day.
She keeps me industrious. You gotta see the list she got.
Well, isn't that what wives are for? Mine keeps me industrious too.
There you go.
Yeah,
Can't let him
if
run
she's
out.
tuned in right now, she'd say, "Yeah, and you don't do it on your out." Okay.
Traumatic weight loss or gain, the need for an increasing amount of drugs or alcohol to fill the same effect. You are in charge
Jeff
of your
says
life.
the
You
farm
make
is
choices
good,
every
but the
day.
music is
Make your
better.
actions.
Oh, hey Jeff. Thank you, buddy.
Watching the farm.
Okay, we're back on WRVK here at this location, Mount Vernon, Renfro Valley, Kentucky. For you folks that are listening in around the world, we got several countries that's reported in here on Richard's show, so he's fairly well known across the world.
Well, thank you, Charlie. I'm glad you mentioned that. We got to do a radio interview last night in Australia, and that was pretty fun. And some wonderful folks down there playing a lot of our music. And then last week we did an Australian interview, and the gentleman is putting together a spiritual radio network, and he's using "Pray on the Radio" as the very first initial song on every segment. So
That is a great song.
Oh, thank you. I'm so proud
The story
of that.
behind that song, real quick, tell the folks the story behind that
Well,
song.
you know, right after the election, the previous election, I was driving, and I had this little song out called "We're American Proud," and it was doing really well, and I was doing an interview, and we was playing all over, you know, Tennessee and Arkansas, and doing all these Arkansas stations, and I get a phone call. We had just left the radio station, and I get a phone call, and this manager says, "Hey, be expecting a call from California. There's a disc jockey that would love to do an interview with you." And I thought, well, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I no sooner hung up the phone, and sure enough, the disc jockey called and said, "Hey, I like your music, blah blah blah. I really enjoy how you're doing your music." He said, "The Lord must be traveling with you," and I said, "I'd like to think so." But the conversation got a little closer to the end, and Charlie, he said, "Do you mind if we pray on the radio?" Now here we are. We're driving down Interstate 40 West, cars on both sides, and this overwhelming inspiration came over me then, right then. And never before would there ever be a pad of paper anywhere to be found. But there was a pad of paper that day. We were driving my pickup truck between me and my wife. And normally you couldn't find a pencil or a pen with a search warrant. But, but there was a pen right there in the dashboard looking at me. So envision this old country boy driving down the interstate with a cell phone in his hand, trying to steer down the driveway, steer down the interstate, and write this song that was coming right then. It wasn't even going to wait. It was coming right then. So Donna looked at me, and she had eyes this big. She finally grabbed a pad of paper and pen, and she wrote the words that she heard me say during my part of the conversation. And if you don't mind, I'd like to sing that for you.
I'd love for you to sing.
Pray on the Radio. I've been writing my songs, telling my stories. I finally got my songs played on the radio. I've been doing interviews around the country, and then one day a DJ asked me, "Can I pray with you?" He said, "Do you mind if we pray on the radio? Do you mind we talk about the Lord?" I truly believe that God's watching over you. You know there's no better company than Jesus when you're out on the road. Well, I told the DJ right then I'd be more than happy to share my thoughts and inspirations about my song. I'm thankful God likes my music enough to ride with me. So if you're hearing my country music, you know that I truly believe that God's watching over you. You know there's no better company than Jesus while we're on the road. I know there's no better company than Jesus while we're on the road.
Boy, that's a great song.
Thank you, Charlie.
I'm glad that DJ called you.
Yes, I am. I'm glad Donna wrote it because she had to pay her paper.
Well, I heard Donna sing. Do you sing any backup with,
No.
with it? No. No. None. You really mean that, don't you?
I'm an accountant.
I can tell when a woman looks at me and says, no, no.
That would mean getting up on stage.
So, on your new project, do you have another song we can listen to from the new project?
I do. We've been really fortunate. We've and everybody knows by now that all my folks come from Eastern Kentucky. And I'm proud to say that. So now all you folks out there listening from Eastern Kentucky, how many of you folks have ever had or ever heard of a cat head biscuit and red eye gravy? So, you know, I thought the whole world knew what a cat head biscuit was. We have a song that's been replayed out there and got some charting and everything, and I realized there ain't a whole lot of folks that know what a cat head biscuit is. So we're doing our part to educate them there. Cat head biscuits, red eye gravy, down home cooking. That's how my mama raised me. Soup, beans, and cornbread, and wild mustard greens. Simple country living, that's what you get with me. I remember Mama hollered, don't let the flies out for you kids born in a barn. And I recall Mama's country words of wisdom. We all knew she laid down the law. I remember every summer we worked together, stacking the hay in the barn. And every evening we find Mama fixing our country supper. She sure cooked a lot. Cat head biscuits, red eye gravy, down home cooking. That's how my mama raised me. Soup, beans, and cornbread, and wild mustard greens. Simple country living, that's what you get with me. Yeah, that's fine with me. That's what you get with me.
You know, there's some confessions going on here. Got cigarettes, and I make them cat head
Where do you live? We'll be right over.
Not too far, about 10 miles.
You know, growing up, my dad always said that. I remember hearing him say that all my life. Cat head biscuits and red eye gravy. And a couple of summers ago, or falls ago, we got to do the headline for the Sorghum Festival over in
West
Liberty, Kentucky. And just so happens our piano player, Tony Williams, is from West Liberty, Kentucky. And so we had done the show, and we were coming out, going up that big hill.
I've been up that big hill.
And we saw this sign, something about fresh vegetables or something else, and Tony said something about biscuits. I said, you mean cat head biscuits and red eye gravy? He said, you know what that is? I said, yeah, I know what that is. So we wrote that song. We got the idea from that song on that trip, come home the next day and wrote the song, Cat Head Biscuits and Red Eye Gravy. If that ain't country, I don't know what is.
But all of your tunes, and by the way, most of the songs that he's singing today, we have on this machine here. So request any of them anytime you want. Be sure and get in some Richard Lynch tunes along the way.
Absolutely, thank you.
And if you don't, I will. No payola here. You know, in the old days, they had the payola thing, you know. But it's quite a feat for a man to bring his wife all the way from Waynesville, Ohio, to do something for a friend. And
well,
I appreciate that.
And the friend is right back, because I know you did the same for us just recently. And we talked a little bit earlier about off air. You know, you can't buy this kind of friendship, and this is genuine. No. This is the real thing. And if you're all just finding out about Charlie Napier, folks, he is the real deal. A classic disc jockey and plays real country music. So make sure you check him out. WRVK.
Yeah, I've got this little song that you recorded over here last time, and you sang the end of it, WRVK.
Yeah.
They don't play them like that.
Yeah, I've got that on file here, so I did record that. What are you going to do next?
You know, I've been making mention of my dad, and you know, for those folks that's wondering how much influence he was, I'll just sum it up by saying he was my hero.
Yeah.
And my dad played music and all his life, and I was so influenced by him. I'll never forget, when I was 19 years old, he gave me this 1957 Gibson cutaway guitar. And I was so enamored with that guitar. I played it and played it and played it. And, you know, and ultimately it got to the point where it needed some restoration. So I set it there in the closet, and it sat there 30 years. And recently we did a show with a group called Exile. And I know a lot of people know who Exile is. They're from
just
here.
down the road.
Yeah. So I got to be friends with their guitar technician, Mr. Donnie Brandenburg. He's from Richmond. And come to find out, Donnie does this amazing restoration work. I just had met the man. And I told him about my dad's guitar that he gave me. And he said, Richard, I know you just met me, but I had this feeling about him. I said, I know you just met me, but if you'll trust me with your dad's guitar, I'll make you proud. Well, I let him have the guitar, and 3 weeks later, I had the guitar. Now here this old farm boy is, and I'll be 58 in December. I hadn't played that guitar in 35 years. So this array of emotion came over me, and this is what I wrote. I get to play this old guitar my daddy gave to me. It was made in a time before I was born, 1953. I'd like to have been around back then, see what I could see, maybe understand just how the man gave his love of music to me. Think I'll carry it on, playing my song the way my daddy did when I was a kid in our country home. 1,000 memories flowing through me. I hope I'm good enough like my daddy was back in 1953. Sometimes I feel a presence coming over me when I play this guitar from my heart. Really him or me. I wonder who will play this old guitar when my days are done. Will they still have the love for the music, old country song? Hope they carry it on, playing their song the way my daddy did when I was a kid in that country home. 1,000 memories flowing through me. I hope they're good enough like my daddy was back in like to carry it on, playing my songs the way my daddy did when I was a kid in that country home. 1,000 memories flowing through me. I hope I'm good enough like my daddy was back in 1953. I hope I measure up to how my daddy was back in 1953.
Great song. Great memories of your dad too. I could tell the way, I could feel your heartfelt voice in that one there.
Thank you, Charlie. You know, once again, we talk a bit about how we write a song. I just let myself get in that feeling, and I let myself talk about memories. And I heard an old song in an interview years ago, and Chris Christopherson was doing an interview, and someone asked him, "How do you write these songs?" He says, "I learned to put the truth in it."
Yeah.
So that's what I try to do.
And it comes across.
Yeah.
And, we got time. We're going to squeeze one more song in for the news here. And
Well, okay. You know, folks, I really want to say thanks to Charlie for inviting us down here. Bless your heart, man.
well, you're going to come back.
Okay.
This is not going to be his last trip. This sounds like goodbye. This is not goodbye now.
Well, I just have to ask everybody, and I think I know the answer. I'll be able to hear you. How many proud Americans do we have out there? We got American pride. We stand side by side. We talk clear and loud. We're American proud. From California to Maine, our freedom's the same. From the backwoods to big towns, we're American proud. Here's to our truck driving pals. They put in the mile. All our farmers and friends, whose day never ends, with our soldiers in mind. They leave no one behind. God will keep our heads bowed. We're American proud. Yes, we are. Look at the pride in our eyes. There's no way to disguise. No, you can't keep us down. We're American proud. Here's to our truck driving pals. They put in the mile. All our farmers and friends, whose day never ends, with our soldiers in mind. They leave no one behind. God will keep our heads bowed. We're American proud. God bless America. We're American proud. We're American proud.
Richard, Lynch, Donna, we are so glad to have you with us again today. And before you leave here, we'll talk about a future date, okay?
Okay.
And he, of course, if you guys, I better turn my mic on here on the radio. If you guys want to book him, where do they find you at?
RichardLynchBand.com.
And got a great band too.
Well, thank you. She's
Yeah.
the brains of the operation.
I got to watch the whole 9 yards
Yeah.
and really enjoyed it. And you folks out there looking for future events, festivals, things like that,
Love to play for you.
the sky's good.
Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate you so much.
Alrighty, we got the news coming up right now, brought to you by Rockcastle Regional Hospital.
Facebook, thanks for joining us today, all my wonderful friends out there.
Yeah.
Check out Charlie Napier.
Yeah, and by the way, we'll be back tonight at 6 o'clock with Chatter That Matters with Jeff Van Hook. You want to answer that? It's probably for you.
So you get that, please.